Welcome everyone. It is Arki Hodges here, president of the Black Achievement Fund. Happy New Year. This is our first info session for the new year. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful Kwanzaa, uh, and we are here at 2026 preparing to continue to fight, continue the movement, and continuing to produce results. All right, today we're going to discuss our goals for the 2026 year, and we will be also having a monthly members meeting at 4 p.m. All right, and the monthly members meeting will discuss some of the updates to our new commit retreat and residential community that we don't want to share publicly. All right. So first, before we get into all of that, I want to share my screen and talk about what the Black Achievement Fund is all about for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time. And by the way, to all of our members and everyone that's watching, please make sure that you subscribe, you like, and you share these videos. Out of all of our social media, our YouTube is where we get the most new members. So please continue to comment, like, and share our YouTube videos. All right. For those of you who are just tuning in, the Black Achievement Fund's mission is very straightforward. We are here to finance the grand development of Black America and beyond $9 at a time. All right, how do we propose to do that? What is our actual economic model? And once again, very basic, 10 million Black people and our allies plus $9 a month equals $90 million every single month and over $1 billion a year. Now, that's a lot of money in the hands of a people who are utilizing this for their self-development. When you begin to think about $90 million and you begin to think about the cost of development, it becomes astounding what we can accomplish in one short year of full activation. The Black Achievement Fund is open to anyone who believes in our mission and our guiding principles, regardless of race, religion, political affiliation, sexual identity, and all of our assets are collectively owned. Right now, the Black Achievement Fund owns 9 acres of land, and we are currently developing the next great Black community, our new Kemet retreat and residential community. And I'll start off here because our first goals for the 2026 year is to complete the first 2 homes in our new Kemet community. All right. And I'll just go there. One of the things that the Black Achievement Fund is about is results. Results, 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 results. The Black Achievement Fund was created to provide an economic foundation for the Black community to begin the process of systematically developing Black communities reminiscent to and better than the communities that we built during segregation. We are here to fulfill the final chapter of the Black liberation movement, and that is economic liberation for self-determination. Here in the United States of America, we have the power to establish our very own cities. Individual Americans get together all the time and create new cities, new municipalities all across America. We as Black people did it before to varying levels of success. And we all know all of the stories of the most famous all Black towns and communities. But we are in 2025, and it is becoming more and more clear that we have to be able to establish our own communities and be in a position to protect those communities, not as individual citizens, but as an organized, structured city within the United States, where we have our own police department, where we've hired the police officers. We control the police department. We don't have to worry about any outside police officers coming into our community and arresting anyone for anything because they're outside of the jurisdiction. We are using our New Kemet retreat and residential community to showcase to the broader Black community that the strategy that is most needed right now is a return to unity, is a return to ownership, is a return to self-determination. Because as we can see, we're in the midst of a radical erasure of Black rights in an unprecedented way. So how in the past did we deal with these types of environments? And this is where history becomes so important. Because at the end of the day, so many lessons are there to be learned from how our ancestors dealt with our common oppressors over the whole course of our time here in America. And one of the most critical things they did for our success was to establish our own self-sustaining communities. We all know about the history of Black Wall Street and Rosewood and Wilmington. And we're saying here at the Black Achievement Fund, once again, if those communities were so great and so positive for our community, why not build them again? Why not build these communities again? So, the very first thing that we're doing is completing the first 2 homes in our New Kemet community. And in doing so, what we're trying to showcase here at the Black Achievement Fund is the leadership ability to manifest what we all want in the Black community. And that is the ability to be able to develop our own communities all over again. And what does that entail? That entails being able to go into a community, purchase land first and foremost. It all begins with land. Without land, we have no community. And we're talking about collectively owned land. We're talking about building a new municipality, a new city, whereby all of the land that comprises that city is owned by our own people and is owned collectively by the Black Achievement Fund. This is what we're trying to establish so that individual members of our community get to live in a world-class, brand new retreat community that prizes Black culture, celebrates Black culture. A community that has fresh water that we control, our own sewage system. Each of the homes are on pristine land that's not contaminated by industrial waste and things like that. We're in the middle of nowhere, essentially. Establishing something that everybody's going to want to come and visit and to be a part of. So what I'm concerned of as the leader of the Black Achievement Fund is producing results. Because it doesn't seem like a lot of people in our community believe that Pan-Africanism remains a viable strategy in the struggle for Black liberation. And I think that a lot of people who have been committed to the strategy of integration and electoral politics are beginning to see the clear limitations of those strategies and are beginning to understand that we need a multitude of strategies in place in order to achieve black liberation. Integration, electoral politics, those are components of the solution, but they're not panaceas for our problems. So the Black Achievement Fund is focusing on the one aspect of black liberation strategy, economic independence, so that we can establish a model community, one that surpasses all other communities. We want to be the best city in America, just like every other city strives to be the best city in America. But we're doing it through an African-centered perspective. We're not overbuilding. We're not trying to over-commodify the land. Out of the 112 acres that we have so far, we've only dedicated 45 acres towards residential development. More than 50%, over 60% of all of the land that we have will remain green in the form of trails, in the form of farmland for growing produce, in the form for our beekeeping operation, which we're going to be generating our own honey for sale, for profit, so that we can begin to showcase that we have the ability to chart our own destiny. We don't have to sit and be dependent upon the greater politics of America for our survival, for jobs, for our education, for our food. We have the capacity, with what we know, with what we have, to be able to transform our condition instantaneously. Instantaneously. What are we building in this community? All of the homes sit on 1 acre lots. And before we go there, I just want you to see this comparison. You know, we are inspired by ancient Kemet. And ancient Kemet is the personification of the greatness of African people through the form of a spectacular, splendid civilization that has yet to be rivaled. As a historian, I've studied the origins of humanity in Africa to the present day, and I can assure you that the foundation of the world's knowledge was generated by people on the African continent even thousands of years before the ascension of the ancient Egyptians. This knowledge is what runs through our veins. I firmly believe that we are here. We're still here and prospering so that we can reassert ourselves on the world stage and create balance within leadership, create balance in terms of how economics and how environmental resources are utilized. The more land that we have in our control, the more power that we have in our control. And the Black Achievement Fund, through our model of collective economics, what we're doing, we are devaluing capital over the power of empowering people. So for example, when we talk about having a million, 10 million people, $9 a month, $1 million a month, $90 million a month. Let's look at just our real estate development and investment department. Out of $1 billion in year one, let's say we allocate $200 million. And this is collectively, everything that we purchase, everything that we own is owned collectively by members of our community. So we don't have to charge members of our community market rates for utilizing any of these businesses or services that we create using their money, okay? In addition to that, I want you to conceptualize all of the people that we are employing in the process, creating our own economy instantaneously by pooling our wealth to just the sum of $1 billion, which isn't a lot of money, but it is a lot of money when it is being directed to the right purposes. To the right purposes. You're talking about $200 million a year. We spent less than $500,000 to acquire the 112 acres that is the New Kemet Retreat and Residential Community land right now. So when you look at $200 million, just imagine what we can do in one single year. In one single year. And this capital is transparent for everyone to see. Once you see the money coming, okay, $200 million, this is the budget. This budget is transferred to this department for their use. Each department has an executive director who we will hire, and now we have the capital to now bring in the smartest of the smart from our community back in service for working for our community. So now the real estate development department has a $200 million budget. Look how many black people, look how many members are now able to be employed through this $200 million budget. If we paid the executive director $1 million a year salary to ensure that we have the absolute best real estate developer, investor that we can find, who's going to be able to pull together a team that's going to be able to utilize this capital and build the new hospitals, the new clinics, the new schools, the new museums, the new playgrounds, the new farms. But you have to have capital. It has to be systematic. It can't be sporadic. We're not going to liberate ourselves by contributing, by diluting all of our capital to 1,000 different organizations. And that's not to say to no longer support all of those organizations. We've made the Black Achievement Fund $9 a month. $9 a month. So that you can continue to support the other organizations that you support. We're not asking for $90 a month. We're not asking for $900 a month. We have made it $9 a month, less than $10 a month, so that this could be totally sustainable, number one. And so that everyone in our community has an opportunity, at least the 10 million people that we are trying to capture. We have 10 million people in our community that can devote $9 a month. But because of propaganda, other failures within our leadership community, the masses of black people are extremely skeptical of ideas like this. They've given their money to a variety of causes that sound like this, and nothing has materialized. Here at the Black Achievement Fund, I am happy to say that we have achieved tremendous results in a very short amount of time. When we first started in June of 2020, the budget was zero. We didn't have a Kemet club. We didn't have any land. We weren't giving out any money to anyone else. We were just throwing the idea out there, seeing what would become of it. And over the past 5.5 years, the Black Achievement Fund has sustained itself 100% through membership, 100% through our model. And not only have we sustained ourselves, but we've grown. We've created and maintained a beautiful members-only community/culture center here in Atlanta, our Kemet Club, in which we have attracted countless new members to the Black Achievement Fund, and it remains one of our essential services that are bringing in new members for the Black Achievement Fund because people see the actual results of what we're doing, okay? In addition to that, our land. We're not waiting on 10 million people in order to manifest our program. We are manifesting it bit by bit, piece by piece, acre by acre, acre by acre. All right? And I am thrilled to say, so again, when we talk about the Black Achievement Fund goals for 2026, I mentioned that the first goal and the most immediate goal was completing the first 2 homes. And the reason that is so essential is, once again, we want to lead by example. We want to lead through results. We want to show people that what we're showing you here, this is just not a glossy. We can actually produce this. And the community that we create going forward are going to be awesome in design. We can create our own Wakandas here in America. We can build homes that stun people. And that's what we want. We want a community that showcases something different. Our new Kemet retreat and residential community will feature fresh produce, fresh chickens and eggs, a beekeeping operation, real live honey, and just even experiencing, if you want to be educated on what's involved with beekeeping. So there will be all sorts of educational opportunities. There'll be opportunities to sell through the store in our clubhouse. There'll be opportunity to taste all the food that is grown right there on the property at our farm-to-table restaurant that will be a part of our community center. And we're not just talking these things. We have the land, and we are actively building right now. And the very first 2 homes that we're building, one is 3 stories, the other is 2 stories, but they're all A-frame pyramid-style homes. And we're looking, once again, to showcase our uniqueness. And the land itself that we have, wild blackberries, wild mullein, prickly pear cactus, wild blueberries, oregano. We also have muscadines. We also have persimmon trees that we haven't updated the website to showcase those yet. But every season that we go on the land, we discover something new that's natively growing on the land. Our progress towards what we're doing so far in completing goal number 1. In order to develop a new subdivision in a new community, there are a ton of hurdles. Even if you are in an unincorporated part of a community, as we are in Toomsboro, Georgia, Wilkinson County, all right? The Black Achievement Fund has charted all of these steps through our blog, our new Kemet development blog. And you can find the blog on our website by going over our new Kemet page, hovering over it, and then it's going down to our new Kemet blog. But it's one thing to talk about building a new community. It's another thing to actually begin the process of building the community. So we have showcased how it starts from day one, from getting your first permits, your septic permit, your well permit, your building permits, from your surveying, the whole process of that ordeal, so that your subdivision can be properly recorded by the circuit court, your new deeds that are subdivided within that subdivision can be deeded and transferred to other people. There are a lot of steps that go into place before you can actually begin the process of building vertically. And the Black Achievement Fund has taken care to chart all of these developments because we want this to be a movement, not just the Black Achievement Fund doing this, but we want to see new black municipalities based on this ideology spring forth all across the country. Just imagine we had 100 brand new cities in the United States of America that were groundbreaking, like the community that we're creating right now. Just imagine that. We could literally be able to travel all throughout this country and be policing ourselves, be self-governing in all of the cities that we visit all across the country. Establishing our own stadiums all across the country where we can control the resources of sports and entertainment that we draw in. The potential is boundless, absolutely boundless, but we have to be able to have the capital to hire the best and brightest from our community to be able to actualize the Black Achievement Fund on a grand level. We have 12 program departments: real estate development, education, farming and agriculture, small business, banking and financial services, manufacturing and transportation, health and wellness, culture and community, grants and scholarships, international affairs, special initiatives, and membership and volunteer services. Each one of these departments is essential to development of new black communities and the establishment of a vibrant new black economy that is able to absorb the talent that exists within our community. All right? We have over 5 million black people with bachelor's degrees in virtually every single subject that you can name. We have over 400,000 master's degrees in virtually everything that you can think of. Over 150,000 doctorate degrees in everything that you can think of. And that's just right here in the United States of America. Imagine if we had the best and brightest working on behalf of the development of our own community and being able to do so by our collective initiative. That is what the Black Achievement Fund is all about. And we're trying to go through this in the most simplistic of ways. I'm not here to steal anybody's money. No one on our board is here to steal anyone's money. And we don't care how the money is, once this $1 billion come in, however we can be as transparent as possible without giving all of our strategy away, so be it. But there's no way we're going to achieve a feat such as 10 million of us and our allies generating $1 billion a year and someone being able to come and just steal all the money away. There's too many demands and too many eyes on the money. So we have to move past this distrust. Over the course of the tenure of the Black Achievement Fund, is there going to be someone who's not going to find a way to steal from us? Of course there is. But does that mean that we don't pursue this because of the reality that down the line someone may figure out a way to steal some money from us? They're not going to steal the whole pool of money. But we can't continue to create reasons why we can't commit to an idea that we all believe in. Because there's nobody that I know who will say it's not a good idea for us to pool our capital together and begin financing our own development. So the only thing that I can think of is leadership. Do you don't do you not think that the Pan-Africanist movement have the leadership to be able to manifest this? And this is why we are so focused on our New Kemet retreat and residential community, because we need to have tangible results to show that this ideology works, that what we're doing is for real. So I want to thank everyone who's been involved so far, who've contributed so far to maintain the platform. All right. Completing the first two houses, raising the remaining 48,000 or so to build our first collectively owned home in our New Kemet community. The land is not just a trophy, all right? We own the land to profit from the land. We own the land to cultivate the land for our greater good. So we are currently raising capital, excuse me, to build our very first collectively owned guest house on our land. And that is our Pyramid 1 guest house. And I'm trying to pull it up. I'm getting an error for some reason. So far, we've raised close to $30,000 towards building our very first home. And all of you who contributed to the building of the first home will be rewarded in a variety of ways. For one, you will be forever memorialized on that property through some type of official plaque or sculpture or something that we have there on the house to mark your place in history, because that's exactly what we're doing. We are making history. And, you know, when we first got the land, or first thinking about it, it's one thing. And then you get the land, and you're like, oh, wow, we own the land. And then it gets time to developing the land. And it has taken over a year and a half for us to go through all of the the horizontal processes to develop our community and get to building. And now that I'm here and we're actually constructing the first two homes, it's like, Archie, you had no real knowledge of real estate development before you pursued this. We work with other Black general contractors, other Black developers, other Black architectural firm to get caught up to speed. We met with the various different heads of the different departments of Wilkerson County so that we could make sure that we met all of the prerequisites for creating our subdivision. And we completed a topographical survey, which I knew nothing about beforehand, subdivision survey, the topographical survey, even learning how to read a topographical survey, understanding what all of the different key points are on a subdivision map, what the requirements are for a road, what are the utility setbacks, what are the easements, learning about the cost for getting electricity put on your land, going through the process of working with the local electric companies, engineers to get the electricity installed on our land. Understanding how wells are drilled, getting our first two wells, and we actually have two wells on our property right now. Both of the new homes that we're building have fully functional wells that pump out beautiful white clear water, as you guys have seen in the videos. In addition to that, the Black Achievement Fund, we've um, cleared the land, we've graded the land, we've poured our very first foundation for the first home. So all of these things that we've gone through has given us new skill sets to enable us to do this again even more smoothly somewhere else. All right? What we're doing here, what we're all about with the Black Achievement Fund is manifesting ideas, producing results. I am not an internet head, I'm not a podcaster. That is not what I do. That is not what I'm satisfied with doing. There is a place for that. And I'm happy that we have those people, and we need more of those people who are promoting the Black Achievement Fund. We need more of those people who like being a podcaster to take on the topic of the Black Achievement Fund and help us gain more members, help make the movement more visible to people who don't know what we're doing. All right? But my goal here is to be on the business end of the revolution, is to ensure that we have the business know-how to get things done beyond just talking. I've been within the nonprofit movement now for 26 since 2020 for 6 years, and I've gone to countless conferences, been in countless meetings, and things that are said are all great, are all of the things that need to be done. But there needs to be more people who are dedicated towards implementing ideas, implementing ideology. So it is extremely important. What we're doing right here on the ground floor, on the ground level, many of you may not see the importance of it right now, but it is of the utmost importance. You can't build a brand new Wakanda-like city without real skill sets, without real know-how. You can't do it through talking every week. You have to go through the process of getting it done. And that is what we're doing here. That is what your $9 is ensuring right now, is that we have leadership within the Pan-Africanist community that is singularly devoted to showcasing how we can start the process of building these new Black communities all over again from nothing, from an idea. From an idea. We moved from the idea of this community to building the first 2 homes, to owning 112 acres of land, to owning 9 acres of land collectively with no mortgage. And we're not an organization with 10,000 people. We're not an organization with 100,000 people. So once this community is finally complete, the very fact that we did it with so little input, with so little contributors, is going to be the more awe-inspiring. All right? Raising this $48,000, how do we plan to raise this $48,000? Well, one of the things is we have an artist in residence. I've talked about him before here in our Kemet Club. His name is Kalanji, and he is an awesome, awesome, awesome artist. He's a visual artist, a painter. And we have commissioned him to paint 2 pieces of art that exemplify, personify the Black Achievement Fund movement, as well as the African village. So these are meant to be 2 fundraisers for both the Black Achievement Fund's New Kemet Retreat and the African Village. The Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture was very successful in this type of fundraiser. For their 75th anniversary, they worked with famed artist Jacob Lawrence in creating a commissioned piece for the Schomburg to sell as a fundraiser. And the result of that was a piece called the Schomburg Library. And the Schomburg initially was selling it for $1,000, but it was going so fast, they doubled the price and to 2,000, and it still sold out. Successfully generating over $100,000 for the Black Achievement Fund, as well as some capital for the artists. So we are excited to be able to showcase the very first commission piece, and that is for the African Village fundraiser. The artist said that it'll be complete in 2 days, and this was 2 days ago. So I'm going to make sure that I go and check today to check on the progress. But we're excited about this piece for the African Village. I've spoken with Dr. Ray Higgins about it. He hasn't seen it yet, but he's going to be very, very pleased when he finally sees it. So the art piece is going to be one of our central fundraisers, and our goal is going to be to raise $25,000 through our artwork. All right, this is going to be a limited edition series of 100, and they're going to be 3 different sizes, a large size, which is like 30 by 40, a smaller size, which is like a 24 by 20, and then one smaller than that. But each of the artworks will be signed, part of a series. After we sell them out, there'll be no more created or made or anything like that. So once you see them, please make sure that you get your piece. And our goal is to make sure that we continue what we're doing, and that piece over time ends up being valued at way more than what you paid for it. So that's one of the fundraisers. Events on our land. Now that we have electricity and water on our land, we want to begin to have more events on our land. So in the next month, we're going to be clearing some more acreage on the Black Achievement Fund's collectively owned land. And we are currently seeking someone who will be able to help us develop our very first farm plan, our very first produce project on at least 1 acre of land, and to also to get our beekeeping operations underway this summer. So events that we're thinking about on the land range from fitness programs to reggae concerts, more overnight Southern Soul concerts, renting the land out to other individuals for other projects and things like that. But if you guys have any ideas, please send them to info@baf.solutions. If you would like to participate in any of those activities, please hit us up at info@baf.solutions. All right, I just mentioned actually our third goal for 2026, and that is clearing and cultivating 1 to 2 acres of our 6 acre plot. We have a 6 acre plot in the area, and then a separate 3 acre plot. So we want to focus some of our attention this year on our 6 acre plot of collectively owned land, since that is where we have water and electricity access to. So if you are a member and you are interested in working on developing our farm plan for our collectively owned land, please hit us up at info@baf.solutions. We are looking to have the first 2 houses completely built on the land, and one of those houses will be available for members to use if they are come into the Black Achievement Fund's land to work on our produce farm and that sort of thing. So you will have shelter, you will have water, you will have electricity, all right? And that is our third major goal. We want to, once again, showcase skill sets, not just in real estate development, but also in farming. It's one thing to get on this platform and say that we're going to buy land so that we can build our own produce. All right, we got the land. Now we have to grow our own produce. But even before we grow our own produce, there has to be a sensible plan for it. All right, once the produce is up, where is it going to go? Do we already have buyers for the produce? Do we know, what we're going to do with to how to maximize the produce or whatever it is that we're growing for the most profit, if that's what we're doing for profit? How do we incorporate education into what we're doing on our farming agenda? The same thing what I'm doing with the blog. So we're looking for people who have bona fide skill sets to lend some of your skills to the Black Achievement Fund, to work with us. And even if you're not in the Atlanta metro area or in the area where our land is, if you have knowledge that could help us develop our land, please hit us up at info@baf.solutions. We're going to continue to have sessions around our farming and development plan. I'm looking for someone now to actually lead that committee. So if you're interested in that as well, please hit us up, info@baf.solutions. All right. Goal number 4, double our membership and contribution rate. Double our membership and contribution rate. The Black Achievement Fund, we have been doing a solid job with being consistent. We've done a solid job with maintaining programming and things like that for our members to showcase that we're in full effect, even as we are seeking 10 million people. We're not waiting for 10 million people. And now we have to focus more of our attention on marketing and promotion, TikTok and Facebook and all of those types of things. So we are actively seeking partnerships with HBCUs. We're actively going to begin the process of recruiting more on college campuses, young leaders who will utilize these social media platforms to help gain more attention to the Black Achievement Fund's campaign and to our movement. We realize that we can't do it on our own, and we need younger people. And most of our members are older than myself, and just don't have the knowledge of social media. So we are working really, really diligently this year to make sure we draw in younger people who can utilize social media to a much more successful extent than what we've been able to do so far. All right, so if you are or know someone who's really good with social media, particularly with video and follow-up, all right, when people are commenting on our social media posts, we need to have a team ready to comment back, to engage those individuals, to get them to make the next step, and that is joining the Black Achievement Fund. So we're going to focus a lot of our time and attention on that as far as new members. And the other part of that is doubling our contribution rate. Even though we have 3,500 members, we don't have 3,500 paying members every single month. All right, so that's a big distinction. The number of members that we have that are actually paying versus the ones that are still members but aren't paying is too large for our organization at this point. And for those of you who may not be coming to our monthly members meeting, it may be misleading for you to assume that the 35 plus 100 members that we have so far are all contributing $9 or more a month. That isn't the case, and we point that out during our monthly members meeting. So if you're interested in knowing more about our personal income and that sort of thing, and you're a member, make sure that you come to our members meeting at 4 p.m. today on the same, or on our Zoom. Won't be live streamed on our YouTube channel. But being able to have all of our members actively contributing would take our organization to the next level right now. All right, we would have already had the capital to build our first home on our collectively owned land if 100% of our active members are actively contributing. So that's another thing that we're going to be working on, is our retention rate in terms of monthly contribution from our members. And it's very easy for us to, and for members, to get some fraud on your card, have to get a new card for whatever reason, and then you got 1,000 different subscriptions, 1,000 different things that you have to go and put your card in all over again in order for these automatic payments. And unfortunately, we get lost in that process a lot. So we are spending a lot of time in calling our members. If you're interested in making phone calls on behalf of the Black Achievement Fund, please contact us, info@baf.solutions. All right. So those are the 4 major goals that we have for the Black Achievement Fund for 2026. We're not trying to overload ourselves with 1,000 different goals. We want to maintain our focus, and our primary focus is in demonstrating results of what we're doing. And the key ways in which we are accomplishing that is the building of our very first 2 pyramid A-frame homes in Toomsboro, maintaining our Kemet Club and continuing the programming throughout the Kemet Club, raising capital for the construction of our first collectively owned home through a variety of different channels, cultivating another 1 to 2 acres on our land to begin to produce some type of capital on our land to further our causes, and doubling our membership and our contribution rate. Those are the key things that we are looking to do this year. So we need more participation from members. Again, the Black Achievement Fund is here to service our members, but we also need our members as leaders. We need you guys to share our social media. We need you guys to be surrogates for our movement, and making sure that you are talking about the Black Achievement Fund and what we're doing in the same way that our white supremacists and white racist enemies are on these social media platforms, creating huge, huge, huge followings of people who are there promoting their propaganda. They're ensuring that their program is actualized, and they use their platform to create a political movement that has swept the American society and is dominating American politics. We currently have right-wing establishment running the White House, the Supreme Court, Congress, both the Senate and the House. Let that sink in for a second. That Make America Great Again, they are actualizing that. First, it was just talk. First, it was the Tea Party. And the Tea Party was the fringe of the Republican Party. But the Tea Party gave rise to Donald Trump, and then he distanced himself, and the Tea Party went into the shadows. so that the association of Donald Trump with the ultra right Tea Party is no longer. And the Tea Party operatives now, they're right wing pundits, they're right wing media influencers. We need to be able to match that energy. This is a movement, and the movement has to move beyond me. So I implore all of you Black Achievement Fund members to use social media to your best abilities to share what we're doing. We believe that we've been shadow banned on social media platforms, but all of you may not be shadow banned. All right, so you sharing our um, social media posts is essential to our success on the social media in the social media landscape. All right, so before I go, I want to have a moment of silence for one of our members, Sister Peaches from Virginia, who transitioned over the holidays. She was a fervent Black Achievement Fund member, hardcore member, and she's no longer with us. So I just want to give a moment of silence and our condolences to her family and loved ones. You know, so many of us are working hard to realize this idea in our lifetime. And my motivation is to see that we build what I'm showing you in our lifetime. And it hurts me every time we lose a member who didn't get the opportunity to see us at full bloom. So um, let's stay vigilant in our mission. We're going to be successful. We're doing all the things that we're supposed to do, and it's going to happen. All right, we just have to continue to have faith and trust and continue the work, the WORK work. All right, with that being said, I'm going to end our info session. If we have any members that are on who have any comments, who have any thing to share, promote anything, here is your time to do so. Anyone? All right. Thank you all once again for your commitment, for your service, and for sharing what you know with the people who in our community who need to know. All right, we're going to win. Love you guys. Black Achievement Fund hug, and I'll see you at 4 for our monthly members meeting. Peace.